In the last episode, more blending in these sections as well. Be well. What is that from?
Be well. That is from Demolition Man.
Aha! I have no need for it. There you go.
What?
Yeah, I don't want
Really?
it. Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That will shorten tall people's lives.
Oh, so it's a conspiracy, you think?
That's what I'm saying.
If it affects my advancement, so be it.
No,
I hope it doesn't.
no. If it affects your advancement, you sue the shit out of them, and we own them. That's what happens.
I don't think she's seen our stock lately. That's not a particularly lucrative thing.
Well, fair enough. Hello. Welcome to the show. SykoYoda back here with another adventure in Minecraft. And today, we're still here. We're at Rain's Gardens. It's about to get dark. We are looking at the terraforming that was done off camera, getting ready for putting in the gardens themselves. As you can see, it's already got a very nice transition of display areas and colors coming in. Got something going on over there. Even as we get the sun to come down, you'll notice some lighting going on. A lot of... That is the wrong button. I always push the wrong button. A lot of lighting schemes and themes kind of presenting themselves. So we have some hanging lanterns going on the second tier at the moment, kind of indicating... more than anything else, the walkway areas, but also we added in a couple in the center here to kind of make it a little bit more uniform when it comes to these themselves. Also some lights hidden behind the waterfalls, of which we have added the last one over here right next to that spawn. Looks like a zombie. So a little bit of lighting going in on that, and we're also got tons of stuff going on the inside, and we will take a look at that later on in this episode, because I think everything works out for us today. We're going to wrap it up. So let's go ahead and get rid of the nighttime, and that was perfect. We can start working on concepts for these flower beds. I want to do a lot of landscaping and stuff up here. We've already started putting in some pathing blocks and stuff like that. But you can see what we got going on here is a bunch of bushes. Well, what is the bushes all about? Let's go ahead and take a look at the top, because it's the easiest way to really see what's going on there. It's a maze! You gotta have a bush maze in gardens, right? Like that's a standard thing ever since way back in the, European days when there was knights and kings and queens and all that stuff, and they had their beautiful gardens. They had bush gardens like this that had mazes built into them. So I went ahead and did so. There's a couple of factors in it that are a little odd, but overall it seems to work out well. There's a little bit of lighting in here, more for atmospheric than anything else, because I've half slabbed in between the bush areas to keep everything spawnless. I didn't want to take any chances with a creeper specifically spawning inside of these and then getting coming around a corner and having a creeper blow up in your face. Didn't sound like a good idea at all. So what do we want to do? We want to set up these things here. This is like a... Oh, that was the wrong button. Where are you? I heard you, Endermite. Hello, are you stuck on a fence there? Come on. Yeah, dead now. The idea is to be able to look at that from the center here. So we need to figure out flower arrangements in this sections that would be appealing to look at from there. And a lot of the times that entails some sort of pattern. A lot of displays have to do with like color wheel flowers, the orange and blue, or the opposite colors basically, and they make contrasting colors. But we want to do something with these. So we have these major display things here. We have one in the center for a major display of flowers, and then these sections that have grass on them. And I already know what I want to do with the grass sections. We have a whole bunch of these too talls. I think, is it the lilac that's too tall? I honestly don't know. Yep. Okay. The too tall selections. Where do they go? Isn't there a white flower that is too tall as well? So I'm a bit of a derp. I thought there was a white flower that existed for the too tall. This looks like this is the too tall flowers right here. You got the sunflowers, the roses, those and those. You got nothing I want. Goodbye. Oh, I got a llama head. I got 2 llama heads. Mr. Llama Llama. Girl, Mr. Llama Llama. So, we can use these ones, but I was hoping for a white because you have like a transition because white, pink, red. If you take white and red together, they make pink, and that was the whole idea. Sunflowers are kind of derpy because in the sense, they're pretty much useless for wide scale thing because they only face one direction. It's the stupidest thing ever. I don't understand the appeal to doing that. Like if they followed the sun, that would be better, but they don't. And I don't know how they work in real life. Maybe that's to be accurate to how it works in real life. They always face the rising sun. I don't know. But we can still make these work since this one is a little bit lighter than this one. I think we can still do the same concept that I was hoping to do. And the idea behind that was you have like a flower cascade of color. Starts in the front with red, goes to the back of white. Gets brighter as we go back. Let's see if we do it the other direction and see how that looks. So it's really weird to me that this is a thing. No matter what, if you put this here, it's always going to be in that same position. It just has decided that that's where it's going to be. You can't change it. And I don't understand why they did it that way. So like these ones are divided way apart and there's nothing I can do about it. It's going to stay that way no matter what. It seems a little bit weird to me. I actually like the reverse better. Getting darker towards the back. So you have like basically like it's changing in color variation. It's getting darker as it goes away or darker as it comes to you to allow for that color change there. Now, because you can see it from the side, you can plainly see this. I don't think I'd want the stripes to go the other direction, although we could potentially do that, make it go light pink, well, you know, light pink, dark pink, and red that way. But I think the effect would basically be the same. Alright, let's go ahead and take a look at here. Let's do something like that. That looks pretty good. So now I just got to figure out something here for the center to kind of tie this all in to each other and make it like a really big exclamation point, right? I like where I'm going with this, but I don't know if I care for this colors. Like that it's leaning towards green with the yellow and blue, and I don't think that goes well with the pink next to it. All right, I like this better already. So we've got the green back behind this, which helps with this blue and I don't remember what those are called, but they're white and yellow little flowers. And it definitely creates a circle pattern with that, but it kind of blends into green because of the yellow and the blue. You got the green in the background, and then we put in some berry bushes over here, so you have the hints of the red coming through, but you got the overall color is green. So I'm gonna put those on both sides of that and kind of make that an eye piece there. And then we got over here, we just moved those over to those sections. We'll put them next to what we do with these locations. And then we have these big, large sections in the center. And I already have an idea for at least one of them. I don't know if I'm gonna do something different for the other side, but we'll figure it out as we go along. So, as you have no doubt heard by now, we've had some audio issues with like echoing in the house, and got rid of like some feedback issues that the wife was having in the first episode since we've been back, and then since then I have been trying to figure out how to get rid of the echoing that's happening. Unfortunately, we're both in rooms that's separated, but there's no doors between us. So there's quite a bit of echoing that happens, especially since the house has tile floors. Basically, we can mitigate some of it by getting a rug and some things to hang on the wall and stuff like that. But we're still working on all of that. But up until this segment here, the recording segment, I've been trying one preset that, after listening to it, I did not like the way it sounded at all. It sounded pretty terrible. So we're gonna go ahead and try this one out, and hopefully this one works. There's only so much you can do with your audio if you're in a house that is not set up specifically for recording, right? You have acoustic tiles all over the place and stuff like that. That's one thing. But what if you don't? What if you don't have acoustic tiles everywhere in your house? How are you supposed to work through all of that? And recently there was a thing released by for RTX video cards that uses the video card somehow to work as a noise gate, or not even a noise gate, but basically like it filters out any sound that isn't your voice. You can set some stuff up to take care of that, but it's freaking ridiculous. Like, it does it in real time. And was listening to somebody actually use it, and like they're banging a rubber mallet on the desk that they're sitting at while they're recording their voice, and you can't even hear the rubber mallet. And then they turn it off and you can hear the rubber mallet just fine. I was just like, holy crap, that is amazing. Obviously I don't have an RTX video card, otherwise I wouldn't be dealing with these audio issues. But if something like that can be figured out for really as low of a budget as an RTX card is, I mean, imagine the future of that kind of stuff. Like, what could be possible for people that are trying to do studios in their house. They're trying to record, audio for a song, or record audio tracks for voiceover work and stuff like that. That RTX card could make a huge difference for them and how stuff sounds. It's pretty crazy when you think about it. Like, technology's, it's always advancing, obviously, but every now and then there's these huge leaps and bounds forward, and it's wow. Speaking of wow, God bless America. By the way, even though I'm born in the United States, I neither believe in God or am America first person. So this is just a really easy thing to do for a pattern, and I think it looks good. We have the right colors for it. We got the blue, the red, the white. So there you go. Mocked up American flag. And there you have it. The gardens are complete. We have been doing all kinds of things and stuff off camera, trying to get stuff taken care of as best we can. But, you know, this project needs to come to an end. We've been working on it long enough, and so I kind of rushed stuff off camera, which means this episode's probably gonna be a little bit shorter. But what you think? I like it. I like it. I like the way it turned out quite a bit. We're going to go ahead and take a look on the inside as well. We've done plenty of work over there, but let's get started with taking a look at some of the stuff out here. You saw what we have wrapped around there, and we put in some miscellaneous trees and things. There's lighting hidden in the bushes and in the trees themselves. We got torches in behind them. The bushes have some glowstone underneath them to give some ambience. And we, of course, got the lanterns hanging here and there. Just wanted to add in like little things to look at from place to place. So we have this pond here that's got a pretty cool view with flowers around it and stuff like that. Nice place to come in and take a look at stuff. There's no fish in here at the moment. I don't know if I want to add fish in there or not. And then also added in several locations little benches to sit down. Always have a light next to them. Threw some extra flowers here and there to add some color and some interest. Always add layers upon layers as best you can is the best way to deal with stuff. So like coming around this corner here, you got the trees, you got the flowers, and behind it you got the bushes, and behind that you got the wild grass. Just try to make things, you know, look like it has a lot of depth to it. More park benches, little flower planter boxes here. This is the center of this side, and so we did like a flower arrangement with some shrubbery up front, and then mirrored those park benches and planter boxes on either side. And then I sandwiched the walkway here and put some vegetation on either side. We got beets and potatoes, but you know, just adding some variety and some differences in there. Again, with the trees, torch lighting, and bushes with the glowstone. Kind of hid some stuff back here for now. This will probably all just go away, but that was what was remaining of my work area as I was finishing this stuff up. As we continue on, we of course have the bush maze, and added in a whole bunch of trees throughout this location. So if you were to meander through here, it looks pretty good. Also, looking back at it, it looks great, and that's the whole concept there. And then as you can see, we added birch trees to both of the mountain or hillsides here, kind of put them up high, and then mostly what's down below is oak, aside from a few things like the acacias here, the dark oaks, and over there's the spruces. Also added another pathway to follow, and this allows us to go to the other side where we can see Rain's face. And then I put a little dock down here, and I wanted to make it so you could come out and kind of get a visual like this from a perspective to kind of get the full face. Not quite straight on, but that's okay, because I wanted to leave this kind of sitting up like it was intended to be a dock that could be pulled up to either side. So pretend, if you will, if you had a boat or something like that, larger than the little rowboats we got here in Minecraft, you could pull up, you know, a speedboat or a motorboat or a ski boat or something like that on either side of this. Nothing too fancy or schmancy, just try to add a little bit more Flava Flav into the mix. This one here, which is not centered, it is just a interesting piece, kind of centered on this view out this way. Alternated pumpkins and watermelons to give a visual appearance, and then carrots behind, keeping with those color concepts, the green and the orange. And then up here having a nice big area to come over and take a look out at the water, along with a couple of benches again, and the acacia trees. Mirroring on either side, they're the exact same distances and everything like that. And then coming over to this corner, I found a place to put the sunflowers that make sense. So I made like an open sunflower field. Basically, it's just a spot where they grow. This allows them to all face the correct direction, which I think is essential because of how everything else is set up. We do what we can to make it make sense. Again, I said previously in this episode that I feel like these are kind of pointless because they don't turn with the sun. So as the sun sets, we'll go ahead and pop over here and take a look a little bit slower at how it looks in the dark. We also got a concept in place for all these things. The only thing that's kind of just made up and doesn't make any real natural sense is this section here. But if you look at it from straight on, the reason why I chose the color of orange for the center there, and then the colors of white and the like dark pink or fuchsia, was because it goes with the beams from the what are these called? The things that give you those. And so the orange and the fuchsia both kind of go with that color. So that was the whole concept behind that. As you can see, the center of that is still kind of dark at night. I didn't want to add in any lights into the ground itself there, kind of make it look al natural by putting the lights in the walkways and stuff. This one, if you can take a look at that, it is a smiley face. I might come back if we get some wither roses at some point and replace the mouth and the eyes with black wither roses. I don't know exactly how they work, to be honest with you. I just know that they exist, and then you'd have a full-on like Pac-Man looking smiley face there, which is kind of the concept of that one. This one you guys saw, just a blue dot more or less, and then the American flag mock, and then the last one here, if you take a look at it, it's a bullseye. So you could sit up here and potentially work on your aim, I suppose, right? So figure what about there? Yeah, pretty good. Flame bow, show you exactly where it's at. Don't have to worry about stuff burning down. Give yourself a little chance to figure distances and where you need to aim and stuff like that. Let's go ahead and take a look at the inside of this, where we've been doing a heck of a lot of work off camera. Trying to say what the best view in this place would be is difficult for sure, but this is my favorite. If you slowly but surely pan down, you will see layer upon layer upon layer of goodness. Now, having a situation where you have the repeating color over and over and over again, the best way to break that up is by layers. And this is a very, very good example of how you can accomplish that. It is quite interesting to see how that all turned out. We ended up adding a lot of staircases into different places to try to make it easy to move around, even if you didn't have end pearls or elytra on, and kind of foolproof things, because I want to make sure that everybody can use this and access it. The concept of how this works has not changed. If you're interested in how the per farm works itself, go ahead and take a look back at the previous video, and that should give you a better indication of how that goes. But just simple things to add the accents in, we've been adding. Got the staircases down into this location. Obviously you can just jump down in the water here, and then the bubble stream that goes up is available from this layer and the layer below. But we also did like things like this, where the redstone pops these things up, open and close, and we set it up so that when it is off, everything goes back to where it should be. You don't have to worry about fixing that when you come down here every time and going, wait a second, that's open, that should be shut. So just little things like that to make it all work and come to a closure is pretty important. Also, making visual appeal from both top and bottom was a challenge. Did simple things like this to kind of add more interest to the eye, but as you can see, the layers that you get from below here isn't as frequent, just simply because of that being such a large thing that had to be covered up. Got these views here where we made these windows that look into the interior of the smelting stuff. give a little bit of extra layers and visual to it all. So the changes up here, we've added in some final touches. The centerpiece here being this, and my concept for it was this was a garden that was set up. Somebody was, nurturing it and taking care of it, and so they had all these things set up to plant new plants and make sure they could keep everything looking pretty. But they needed a place to sleep naturally, so this is the quote-unquote bedroom for that. And we put in some shelving, different displays, like a little bit of an area where they're trying to figure out what they want to do with these kind of flowers, using some heads for different miscellaneous boxes and stuff sitting on the shelves. Lengthened the bed out a little bit by adding some snow here. This was a trick that I saw, I think, BOO do. And the beds should definitely be longer than they are. When you're laying down in them and seeing that view, it doesn't quite make sense as to why they're only a 1x2, but is what it is. Change this up a little bit for the headboard. Another shelving unit just mirrored like the other one. Plenty of lighting in here as well. Just some simple stuff, make it look like paper, that kind of thing. So you'll notice that we have the drippy in the ceilings and stuff, but that area with the drippy is all where the vegetation is. But like in here, put half slabs up there so we don't have any dripping coming down into the bedroom. And along with that, leaving all of this where it is dripping kind of makes it look like it's self-watering in a sense, or just really high moisture content because of all the plant and vegetation. They're going to be making these so they can connect endlessly, which I think makes a really cool looking fluorescent light. So once that gets fixed, those two nubbins in the middle should disappear. And then, some workstations here and there, some stuff where pots are being planted, that kind of thing. Just simple stuff like that to make it all look like a complete stuff and not be huge and empty. We also added in some rooms. This side is like a living area with a lot of books and seating and a couple of extravagant pieces to kind of make it look cooler. Nothing actually doing on any of these, like they're not being used for anything. It's just all about visual. Some couches that look like they're like the old school, like leather, embroidered leather, that kind of thing. And over on this side, we did all of the like vegetation that you could eat, and also the trees. Rain did pretty much all of this setup, and I liked the idea of that, like having the flowers over here and the vegetables and stuff over here. Makes sense, you'd kind of have them separated like that if you were doing stuff anyway, just easier to keep track of things. And then over here, same thing, no drippy, but we made a dining area and a kitchen, and I really like how this turned out. Sideboard. This right now is just full of all the extra supplies that we've taken all the chests out and stuff from. Big old table with benches on either side of it, and then a kitchen, complete with a stove and a flat surface cooktop. Yes, I know it's wool and it looks like wool, but it's the best I could do. And then using the tripwire hook here and a hopper for a sink worked out pretty good. That is what the smoker, I think. That works out great for a microwave, in my opinion. Has a big window there. It looks like a microwave. And then refrigerator covered with the door there. It's actually just a couple of barrels, but hey, might as well stock it with actual food, right? We had it, might as well. And then obviously we got the lighting in this place as well. It's a little claustrophobic bringing it down like this, but I think it works, especially having the lighter color backsplash tile type of thing going on. Really like how that turned out. Well, folks, I think it's going to call it for this episode. I think it's going to make a little bit shorter than usual episode, but as you can see, we did a lot of work to get to the point that we are. I hope you enjoyed this build. It was pretty fun. We're going to move on to something else for the next episode. Hopefully the update comes out before too long, although I did hear some suggestions that it might be early August or late July before we see it, so definitely have plenty to keep me busy until the 1.16 update comes our way. As usual, folks, thanks for watching. Don't forget that like and subscribe if you enjoy my videos, and I hope to see you in another adventure here in Minecraft where we talk about life, things, and stuff. We'll see you next time.